takes the victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
Well, it's a style of racing and a format that we may never see again, as it's at a venue that doesn't exist anymore. And live here tonight from Auto Club, it's All-Star Night for the Chapman Cup Series, presented by Racing Revolution. It's the Shield All-Star Showdown 2025 edition, and we're in a mini stock here tonight. A unique format as we get right into our race analysis. Alex Gagnon, Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth with you all season long. This one's going to be unique. 2 heats, 1 random driver is going to be added, and then it's an all-star feature. 50 laps, and the stage of lap 20. What a unique setup here for this all-star event.
Yeah, it should be a ton of fun. They are very small heats, but this is a big track, so even though these heats are only going to be about 10 laps, I think we'll see a good bit of racing getting in from those two. Round out our field, we've got a lot of really talented folks getting ready to go for the All-Star race tonight, but this will be quite the curveball with the mini stocks. Obviously not the regularly scheduled competition here in Racing Revolution, so may even the playing field just a little bit tonight and really let the drivers shine in almost like an IROC style event.
That, and on top of all of it, there's no damage here, and unlimited green-white checkers. I know it says 15, that is kind of the iRacing cap, but they're going to go until they finish this thing out under green. So however they have to settle it, there will be a driver taking the checkered flag at full speed by the end of it. And you take a look at Auto Club Speedway. Now, it opened June 1st or June 20th of 1997 and recently closed within the last year and a half. And they've torn down pretty much all of it at this point. I believe they were going to turn it into a short track, and I think they've scrapped that idea as well. So Auto Club only lives on here on the iRacing service at this point. It had a really good run, though, of about 30 years. And, you know, you go back to the history of this racetrack and its inaugural race, drivers like Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett, Mark Martin all had success here, and it continues to live on this service.
Yeah, it does. And this is the best place for it. One of the best parts about iRacing racing still race and compete at that are accurately scanned that may not be active on the schedule anymore. Auto Club, no exception to that.
With that, though, it's time to take you trackside now. We'll throw the drivers' names up on the screen. Some of this information may be inaccurate because it is heat style, and ATVO and our overlays really don't like it. But starting up front here tonight, according to our overlays, it'll be Chris Nail with a 48.852. Matt Robinson to his outside in the second position. That's your Coastal Financial Unofficial Pole Award. This is Heat 1, so no official pole award here tonight, but we will give that to Chris Nail for the first heat. Christopher Schaefer and Kyle Stewart will start third and fourth position. And there's only 8 cars out on this racetrack. Dakota Floyd, Michael Reed in fifth and sixth. And then rounding out your field here tonight is going to be Joe Joya, Dylan Picklesheimer in the number 35. So one driver will advance here. And only 10 laps. That's
short little sprint. This is going to be wild because only the winner will move on. And with it being such a small field, everyone's going to feel like they've got a chance at it here.
And it looks like a little Tykes machine there on the inside with the 88. He'll be the command car.
I was just thinking that. I took a look at that and said, wow, that is probably at least my early contender for favorite paint scheme I've seen so far. Although the bluey one to his outside there, Matt Robinson, also a really fun one. They're bringing the heat here on All-Star Night. An opportunity to run schemes that they would not be able to any other time this season. And they are making good use of it.
This car's a little bit quieter than the next generation stock car that we're used to seeing them all thunder around with. But here tonight, a unique scenario, a unique sound, and a unique race all together. Pace car is going to pull off. Here we go for 10 laps, 20 miles. 88 of Chris Nail starting on top. Will he make it to the main race in the All-Star? Here we go from Auto Club. It's the All-Star Showdown for the Cup Series. Well, it looks draft heavy, and there was a little bit of contact coming out of turn 4. That's going to allow Chris Nail back to the top position. He got into the back of the 11 of Matt Robinson, and now they're looking 4 wide going into turn 1. A pinch down from the 10. He's really leaning on the 91 of Michael Reed.
4 wide for second through turn 1 and 2, all chasing after Chris Nail. Kyle Stewart up the hill will slide into position number 2. Everyone on that inside losing ground as it completely fell apart. And now Michael Reed going to shift Kyle Stewart out of line. And someone's in the wall there. I think it was Picklesheimer.
Chris Nail got a piece of it there in front of him, and Picklesheimer followed suit. But yeah, 88 tried to block that run that they had on the outside, and now the bottom pulls away. So a check down on lap number 2. Coming around for lap number 3. These cars thundering around at 155 miles per hour, and just before they hit turn 1, they hit 158.
A little different from the near 200 miles an hour that the next gen cars would be carrying into this corner, but 158 of these mini stocks. Still plenty enough speed to have situations like that. Picklesheimer and Joe Joy get into it. We stay under green. Take another look at it here.
So Joe Joy maybe moves up the racetrack. 35 comes down to pinch. Comes across the nose of the 7. And ends up losing the draft. We talk about pack style racing. Well, with this car, this is essentially Daytona. If you lose that group, you're praying for a yellow.
Yeah, so this is a very unfortunate turn of events here for Dylan Picklesheimer. He's just going to have to ride it out and hope something happens in front of him to regroup him to this field in this short 10-lap heat. Joe Joya more or less has lost the draft as well. He's a second off of the rest of the group, but there are still 6 cars in this lead pack. They're all chasing Kyle Stewart down the back straightaway.
That's Dakota Floyd there on the inside, giving the push to the 10 of Stewart. Remember, we'll have one driver randomly added to this group for the feature in the main All-Star event. Right now, we're trying to decide a +1 for the race winner. A little loose there for Stewart off of 4.
But he will continue to lead here at the start-finish line. The pole sitter, Chris Nail, hanging up there on the outside. Not a whole lot of help up there. Some aggressive side drafting nearly puts it 3 wide. Dakota Floyd took a peek. That's going to cost Kyle Stewart a little bit of time, and Chris Nail is going to be right on that door as they make their way off of turn 2. We'll hit the halfway point of this heat next time by.
Heat 1, All-Star Night, presented by Shield. Side by side with your pole sitter and Kyle Stewart, who is up 3 positions. Looks like draft help going to be oh so important, as it looks like Nail gets touched by the 57 of Floyd, and now pulling down to pinch the tri-oval. Side force is a factor in this car, and it's just enough there for Chris Nail to pull back the lead going into turn 1.
Side-by-side action, 3 rows deep, 5 laps to go. The inside lane very tightly knit in line. The outside flared out to get a little bit of fresh air on the nose of their race cars. Dead heat between Chris Nail and Kyle Stewart down the back straightaway. And now here comes a run from Matt Robinson to the inside. He's going to make it 3 wide on a little slingshot maneuver. 3 wide for the lead here in heat number 1. It's Robinson, Stewart, and Nail.
4 laps to go. They're going to try to make it 4 wide down the tri-oval as the 23 to the outside. Christopher Schaefer, he will make it up there, but it looks like no, he'll back out of it just for a moment there. I thought the 11 was going to hold on. Matt Robinson backs up, 88 sideways.
Around. And there goes Christopher Schaefer.
Like the yellow they wanted here.
Yellow's
Yes,
out.
they
Joe
will.
Joya has to avoid. And that is a massive break for Joe Joya and Dylan Picklesheimer. It's going to give them an opportunity to re-bunch up to the field here. Take another look here.
88 got sent up the racetrack here. Trying to watch this from a blimp camera. But once he got sent up the racetrack, Alex, you saw it bounced off the 23, and because these cars have a little bit of offset, it's almost like an open wheel when you make contact the right way with those tires, and that's why that 23 just kind of hopped like bouncing a curb. Man, Joe Joya just about ran into the back of the 23.
Yeah, if you take one more look at that with Chris Nail, I mean, he hit not only the car next to him, but I mean, he made contact with each of the 3 cars in the lead there. Dakota Floyd, Kyle Stewart, and Michael Reed made contact with all of them. It's a miracle that he didn't go around.
When you catch that break like Joe Joya did, you don't want to be part of the caution as well. Thankfully, he's able to make a maneuver and avoid that. I do not predict anybody to come down pit road. We'll probably speed this up in just a moment and take the 1 to green. So we still have another heat to settle this out and add another driver.
Just a reminder, folks, if you're joining us late, this is heat 1 of 2. Only the winner of this heat will advance to the main event here tonight. Everyone else will have to hope that their name is called in the spin of the wheel to determine the final starting spot of the All-Star race this evening. So, big moment here on this restart. They are going to have to do whatever it takes to try to get this thing in victory lane for heat number 1. It's their only chance, really, that they can be in control of their own destiny to make the main event tonight.
So we're setting at 3 to go. Really surprised track stewards have not flagged with the being no damage, just accelerating this to 1 to green. I mean, these guys won't pick up any damage. There's no reason for them to have to come down pit road. We're not going to run out of fuel, so still waiting on that 1 to go signal. We'll have to wait and see if that's actually how they do it, but we do have what would be an extension of this race if we wait this caution out. So still waiting on those track officials. Guess we're gonna keep it going. Extension of this race, Alex.
Yep, looks like it. It's also worth noting this thing only has a 20-minute time limit. We've only passed 10, so I don't think they have to worry about time too much. But it is something to keep in mind if we end up having to stack up for another green-white checkered, which is a very real possibility with how tightly everyone's racing each other. And with it being a heat race, you know, the sense of urgency is there with it being the end of this race. Something to keep an eye on for sure, but they're going to extend the lap counter here to make sure we get this thing finished under green. Lights are going to go off on the pace car this time, I believe. And that will put Kyle Stewart on the front row with Dakota Floyd, Michael Reed with Matt Robinson, Chris Nail, Joe Joya, Christopher Schaefer, Dylan Picklesheimer will be the field coming around. Next time by, it will be going back under green to try to finish up heat number 1.
And just to be official here, we only have 1 green-white checkered attempt in the heats. So this will be the only attempt here. If another caution does come out, the leader at the time the yellow flies will be the winner of heat 1. Stewart, Floyd, Reed, Robinson, Joya, Nail, Schaefer, and Picklesheimer trying to punch their ticket into the main event for Showdown weekend. It's All-Star Night for Racing Revolution and the Chapman Cup Series. You've seen them drive the next gen for about 13 weeks now. But just about at the halfway through the regular season, NASCAR takes their best and brightest to a unique venue with a unique setup, and it's no different here at Racing Revolution. As I don't think any of these guys have really gotten time on this car other than the practice that they had here tonight. A lot of these guys out of their element, and it was a learning curve. You saw the practice, and Alex, it was fun to watch, but it looks like it translated over a little bit different here, as we're going to see a dash to the end. 2 laps to go at the line. Big jump on the outside for the 35.
Yeah, everything got stacked up big time behind Dakota Floyd, who's already down to the infield with Chris Nail. Are we going to stay green, or is this going to go into yellow? Looks like we're going to stay green as they were out of the racing line. Tough break for Dakota Floyd and Chris Nail, but racing continues at the front of the field. Kyle Stewart's got a mirror full of Michael Reed off of 2.
And he's going to have to block him at every chance he can and hold on to this thing. Because when we take that white flag, you know these guys that are deeper back in this field are going to get the momentum.
Here we go through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time here. Stewart wrapping the apron. Michael Reed losing some draft support on the outside. Here comes Robinson. Chris Schaefer giving him a push down the front straightaway. And the white flag for heat number 1's in the air.
One more time around for heat number 1. Kyle Stewart has the lead, but not by much. About 0.04 of a second entering turn 1. 91 to Reed on the outside. This is for it all. You have to win to get in. Tanner Stewart holds it down there. His partner's gone. He got turned on the tri-oval. And the 10 barely holding on. They're going to touch fenders going in to turns 3 and 4. How much does the 10 want it? He's got help from the 11 going into the corner. 3 wide for the lead.
All the way up the hill.
Stewart sideways. He gets loose. Here comes the 11 all the way to the apron. It's going to be a drag race to the front.
They're bouncing off each other.
0.00 of a second. Kyle Stewart, with 4 wide behind him, is going to win and get in.
Nicely executed there on the green-white checkered from Kyle Stewart. He's going to be credited at leading most of the laps here tonight, and Boy, he had to hold on to it. He was facing a lot of pressure from behind coming off of 4, but did a good job making sure he was the one coming across the stripe first.
So was trying to back that up there as we had actually advanced the session. We'll try to back this up one more time. So we're getting ready for heat number 2 with...
Looks like some familiar faces, sans our winner Kyle Stewart. So those 7 are going to re-rack it and give it one more go.
And these guys just kind of fighting amongst themselves here as we'll try to get a better angle of this. But there is a
look at that.
Everybody behind, and the 11 had the advantage, but I think he ends up making contact off of the corner here.
Yeah, it looks like it. And that was just enough contact to cost him a chance at really making a run at it here. You see, he goes under, tries cutting this racetrack as short as possible, and then when he comes back up the racetrack a little bit, just, didn't have the speed he needed to carry off the corner.
Well, that's going to do it there for your race winner, Kyle Stewart, getting it done. And now we have Matt Robinson, Michael Reed, Christopher Schaefer, Dylan Picklesheimer, Joe Joya, Chris Nail, and Dakota Floyd going to make another attempt at it. This is heat number 2. Again, this comes down to a list of names of drivers that can be randomly added here. And that list of names with Dakota Floyd, Dylan Picklesheimer, Kyle Stewart, Matt Robinson. And because Kyle Stewart won, there's no draw here. This goes to drivers that have won this season that still had to race their way in. And for Stewart, this is one of those, hey, we're guaranteed something here. But it's no guarantee for the rest of these guys as we come up on a green flag. Heat number 2 underway from Auto Club. The Bluey number 11 has the 91 of Michael Reed to the outside as they go into turn 1.
They'll round the corner here. Michael Reed getting a good look on that outside. Got a lot of help from Dylan Picklesheimer pushing through the corner. Schaefer, though, back to the back bumper of the 11, giving Robinson the push that he needs. Chris Nail looking to maybe make it 3 wide. Elects against it, and they'll file back in. Double file. Never mind. There goes Chris Nail back to the outside 3 wide.
With no help here, they're going to look 4 wide through 3 and 4. It's going to be 4 wide off the corner. Who's going to benefit the most? It looks like Chris Nail has the momentum, but the 35 of Picklesheimer across the nose. He hits Dakota Floyd.
Whoa, big wreck. Picklesheimer and Floyd. Heavy damage. Good thing they've got the fast repairs that are enabled here tonight for the All-Star race.
35 gets sent to pit road after that incident. We'll back this up one time. Take a look at it here, coming off of turn 4. Innocent bystander with Dakota Floyd, but the 35 forces it 4 wide. Just not going to work.
Yeah, and it looks like, Reed was coming down at the same time that Schaefer was to the inside of the 35. I'm going to assume that the 91 was expecting the 35 to get down to the apron, maybe not knowing that the 23 was still there. As you see, they start making their way down the hill there. Oh no, 91 from that first angle, it looked like they made contact. No involvement there with the 91. It was strictly Schaefer and Picklesheimer who get together off of 4.
And Dylan Picklesheimer has disconnected from the session. He will be done for the day, and that will bring us down to just 6 cars for heat number 2. And we'll cycle out with the 11 in the lead of Matt Robinson.
It looks like it'll be Robinson, Nail, Reed, Goya, Schaefer, and Floyd. That's the way they'll line up. It's very easy to give the field rundown when there's only 6 cars on the grid for these heat races. The big thing, though, that we've learned through the first heat in the opening couple laps of this is it is very possible to make a 3 wide or 4 wide move. However, we've seen it backfire already a couple times this evening, so gotta wonder if these guys are thinking about, all right, gotta be strategic when I try to jump out and make that move, because it has been a high risk, high reward type scenario through the first heat in the opening couple laps of this one.
Well, I would say high risk and high risk. That's pretty much what it is. You can't
Just double
draft
impact
away
and
from,
high risk.
yeah, you just can't draft away from each other. And even when you get that run on the outside, you can have all the momentum in the world, but someone down on the inside gets a push, puts you dead even. It's just kind of like Auto Club in any other car, right? You can't escape the draft, and so I think we haven't seen the end of it. How about some 6 wide here, guys? Why not?
Auto Club's big enough, they could make that happen.
Yeah, everybody pick a lane. Somebody use the apron. We could do it. Green flag back underway on lap 4.
So far, they're a third of the way there to that 6 wide as they go into turn 1. Double file from second on back. Chris Nail, Michael Reed. Tight racing there in the 1. Joe Joyo right behind him as well.
Joe Joya is going to tuck in line behind the 88, the 57 back here in the tail end of this field, just trying to find any way to get around. Every time Dakota Floyd has made a charge towards the front or gotten to the top 3, he's been involved in something. And last time it happened coming to the checkered flag. Right now, I think he's just playing the patience game, trying to be there at the end of this.
Nice little move there to slide under the 7. The 7 goes up to follow the 23 on that high side. Chris Nail has drawn even with the leader, Matt Robinson. Although the help behind him, peeking out of line, seeing what could be available even higher up the racetrack. Going to cost him just a little bit of time here going into turn 1. Robinson inching up the track, maybe trying to hold off the 88. And now Michael Reed going to pounce to the inside. 3 wide for the lead here. Robinson caught in the middle.
It's a tandem of 2 cars, 3 lanes wide down the backstretch, and the outside looks like it's going to prevail, at least going into turns 3 and 4. The 88 of Chris Nail drops across. You call it an elevator move. He's going to the lobby. Here we go for lap 6.
Yeah, he went all the way down, left the 23 high and dry in that 3rd lane, but now Nail working his way back up the racetrack. He is having a busy time there. Now it's going to be 4 wide for the lead. We're 2/3 of the way to the 6 wide here at Auto Club. We're getting there. They're thinking about it right now.
I think if you're anybody on this racetrack right now, you're doing whatever you can just to have a little advantage over one another. And it looks like 2-car tandem's not enough to be dominant. You saw the 10 of Kyle Stewart. He was just able to keep his car in front of something the whole time, and that's really the difference maker. It didn't matter who was behind him. He just knew the lanes, and we got to move up to the outside. As the 23 got loose, he pushed Chris Nail almost to the wall.
Yeah, nearly got a piece of both the wall and Matt Robinson. Robinson still running all the way up to the fence, costing himself a lot of time. That's just a much longer way to get across the straightaway as Joy is around. Oh, and Michael Reed gets a piece of Chris Nail. Oh, wow. Big collision. Boy, with no damage, you can just launch these things.
Joe Joya was committed to running that bottom, and the 88 of Chris Nail letting him know he's not happy.
That's the one thing when you take off damage for these races, it enables drivers to be significantly more aggressive. And because of it, sometimes you run into situations like that.
Watch here with the 7 car. He's going to get sent to the inside with the 91. And he just kind of stayed on. I don't know that he would have actually met up with them had the 91 and the 88 not got together. I think they would have just drove away and Joy would have chased it to the wall. But instead, he gets that.
Yep. A little bit of frustration here in the All-Star Open. We haven't even hit the main event yet, and already people are ready to square off when they get back to pit lane here. Take one more look at it. The 7, middle of that inside lane, giving a push to Dakota Floyd. Floyd very lucky he didn't get caught there by Michael Reed going around a little bit. That nearly caught him in the right rear.
And then it's Reed sandwich going into turn 1. I don't think that Michael Reed even knew that Joya was coming back up the racetrack. He was just trying to collect his car. One more time on the onboard. We'll see how fast this happens. And based off that right there, just a lot of meeting at the wrong place at the right time.
Been the theme of the evening to this point. So Dakota Floyd will be scored as the leader. One thing I'd like to update from the first heat is that while the main event has an unlimited amount of green-white checkers, the heats only have 1. So should this go to the green-white checker, which I believe it has, this will be the one and only attempt at the green-white checker for the heat. That is a correction from the first heat.
So Dakota Floyd, Christopher Schaefer, Joe Joya, who had a black flag and it was cleared. Not sure if he got a black flag for incident count, exactly what happened there. But then it's Matt Robinson, Michael Reed, and Chris Nail, Dylan Picklesheimer, an early exit to this. And of course, you had your first heat winner, Kyle Stewart, who did it just good enough. I mean, not a lot of time to work with, but I think he's glad that the race came to fruition the way it did.
Lights are off on the pace car. 6 cars still running this thing. And only one of these 6 will get that instant pass into the main event.
We're going to settle it here with a green-white checkered. 1 attempt here for heat number 2. Pace car out of the way for the final time. Who's going to punch their ticket? This will be our second driver to add to the All-Star Night. A pinch down from the 23, but we're back green with the 11 of Robinson pushing Dakota Floyd.
Good launch from the inside lane. Going into turn 1. Oh, Schaefer and Nail down to the grass. They're still digging down there. They've lost the draft. And now there's 4 cars in the hunt. Floyd, Robinson, Joya, and Reed.
Oh, I think they're going to leave each other out to dry here if we come to the white flag, which it looks like we're going to make it. As long as they can hold it together.
Oh.
11 across the nose.
Yeah, good save there from Robinson, and he didn't lose a ton of speed. He may not be out of this thing yet as we're going to go take the white flag. Dakota Floyd, Joe Joya. Joya takes the lead here, going across the line.
One more time around, presented by Erhardt Homes. Love where you live. Heat number 2 about to be over with Joe Joya on the top spot, but he has Dakota Floyd all over the back bumper as they go into 1.
Dakota Floyd right to the bumper. Maybe a little bit of help moving the 7 up the hill. A little bump and run out of 2 now for Dakota Floyd. Down to the apron. Big side draft from the 7. However, he's going to go on by with a big push from the 91.
And Reed gets him by as they come off of 3 and 4. Can Floyd block another one? The 11 looking like he's setting up another run to the apron. He's going to choose the outside this time. Is it going to be enough? It looks like it might just be across the line. The 11 of Matt Robinson. No, it's Dakota Floyd.
0-0-0 on the monitor.
It's Matt Robinson. It's so close we can't even read it.
The board is reading 0-0-0 even to 1,000th of a second on the pylon.
Oh no. Do we want to do a photo finish here?
We're going to have to try to take a look. I mean, that was unbelievable.
This is the best we can do here on V-Speed. We're going to slow this down. But that final little shot right there from Joya to Dakota Floyd, and man,
oh my God. It would have been Robinson's race, but that last push from the 7, I mean, just look at that. Dead heat.
I gotta find another camera angle here. I might be able to zoom in just enough.
And we're gonna try to take one more look at this here.
I mean,
from that angle, it looks like it's Matt Robinson.
let's see if we can take a better look at this.
We're gonna crank the sky cam up here and
from a higher camera.
Oh man. Just look at how close that is. But I do believe, I mean, maybe it's just the angles playing tricks on me, but it does from that angle look like it's the 11. And it just looks like he's got that slight edge at the line.
Craziness here tonight at Auto Club. And I mean, I'm going to risk a frame here. I'd usually never touch the UI here on iRacing, but that's I think we're making an exception here tonight just to bring it up.
I mean, just trying to get the best look.
Yeah, that's as close as it gets here, folks.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think from that angle, Robinson got the edge. I think timing and scoring. Obviously, I believe iRacing timing and scoring is going to be right, but boy, I mean, it is. You probably could have breathed on the back of the 57, and that would have been enough to push him to the front.
Well, the 11 of Matt Robinson gets that win, and you have Kyle Stewart for heat number 1. So we'll put that information up on the screen. And like I said, overlays here do not like heat style racing. So sometimes things get a little bit confusing here on ATVO, but we did the best we could. And even with iRacing, things got a little bit confused as it came down to literally tens of thousandths of a second faster than anybody can blink. And it's still probably being reviewed. I mean, iRacing's got great timing and scoring, but it's not very often that you hear that track officials actually have to go back and watch these things. Don't go anywhere. We still have more excitement from Auto Club. Plenty of racing left to be done as we are going to come up for our main event. It is All-Star Night for Racing Revolution in the Chapman Cup Series. Don't go anywhere. More coverage will continue on V-Speed right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today. One area of our business where we impact the local communities pretty heavily is the school systems. So we work for school systems all over the northern part of the state of New Jersey. We operate their water systems, their wastewater systems. We do a lot of their permitting and compliance work, and we ensure that the water that the kids drink is clean. We go out and do the sampling to ensure that it's not contaminated. And we also treat the wastewater that's being generated at a lot of these facilities as well before it gets discharged to the environment. So we are supporting the local community through supporting the boards of education and the local school systems.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live at Auto Club, and if you missed the excitement, we saw the closest finish in V-Speed history. It was less than 1,000th of a second, and iRacing scoring and timing put zeros across the board, as it was the 11 of Matt Robinson getting the heat number 2 win. Kyle Stewart with the first heat, and our random selection here tonight, Dakota Floyd, who was the second place finisher in that heat number 2. What do you got to do to get into this thing?
I tell you what, that's an incredibly fortunate break for Dakota Floyd. I mean, you know, lose out on the closest finish we've seen here on V-Speed in that heat, but luckily the random draw selected him at the 6, or I guess the 5, who were still in there, and he'll still have an opportunity to run in this thing, which I think is very fitting given that basically those two tied that second heat. So should be fun to watch, and I am wondering, obviously, you know, these guys did not win last year. That's why they ran the Open before the All-Star race tonight, but you know, they've got a lot more track time than the people who will be running here now. And with that being really fresh experience, I wonder if there's some speed that they're going to be able to carry here in the early going that maybe the folks who are just kind of getting warmed up and ready now, they might not have.
Yeah, and when you go into this, you go in with a little bit of a different mentality, Alex. We already talked about the no damage and how some of these guys are just sending it into these corners. They're having complete disregard for their safety and those around them. So if you thought it was exciting earlier with about 8 cars on the track, we're going to take it up to 17, I do believe, for this main event. And of course, unlimited green, white checkers now for 50 laps. The stage at lap 20. If a caution falls after lap 15 or at lap 15, we will count that as the stage. Of course, there's no stage points here tonight. It's more of a competition caution, and I'm sure an award will go out to that stage winner, but it doesn't count for points here tonight. This is a one-off. It is the all-star event. You'll never see these guys in the car in this mini stock the rest of the season, and this is on the iRacing fixed setup. The one random driver, the 2 heat winners added on to the rest of these drivers that have had top 10 in points, victories throughout the year, last season and this season. And, you know, that limited list of drivers that have won here in the Cup Series, it's been a dominant performance by, Jeremy Burns in both the trucks and in here. And it's a limited list of guys adding themselves to both of those seasons, because we had, I believe, 9 or 10 wins between both the 53 of Rob Rader and the number 9 of Jeremy Burns.
Yeah, both of them had phenomenal seasons last year, but there was a lot of drivers who did sneak in a win here or there. So maybe not a huge spread of where the wins went, but enough individual drivers who got at least a win last year that this will be a pretty healthy field. Tonight, the average size of a field here in Racing Rev, up above 30, maybe closer to 35, and we've got just over half of them getting ready to roll here tonight in the All-Star race. Should be fun to see as these qualifying times are coming in. It is they're not a whole lot separating these guys. You see the points up there as they run right now, and Jeremy Burns has got a bit of a lead, and then it's that incredibly tight battle from second on back through really the top 11. Trevor Erhardt back to Carter Lynn's, less than 20 points separating those 10 spots in the standings.
Yeah, and this has changed a little bit there after Texas, but this just shows you that it's a limited list of drivers that have victories. And when you come into this relying on merit alone, it's difficult to prove that you should even be in this thing. When you're outside looking in, you've had podium finishes, you might be top 5 in points, but you still had to race your way in, and that's been the struggle for some of these guys. As we're seeing some clowning around down here in the warm-up, we'll be stretching it out in just a moment. With that, though, it's time to get the grid up on your screen. I think it's official now. We can talk about our full award. What do you think? Top spot. Help me out here. I lost track of the driver that got the pole here tonight. I'm so discombobulated.
Top spot is good old 4-time Rob Rader gonna get the Coastal
There we
Financial
go.
Pole Award according to iRacing and timing and scoring. But I tell you what, mini stocks here at Auto Club are producing some really close times. Kevin Orlando Jr. on the scoreboard to 1,000th of a second, also identical to Rob Rader's time, a 48.862. So that is fascinating to see how that's shaken out. But right now it does say that Rob Rader will be taking the first grid position for the All-Star Showdown tonight.
Alrighty, so congratulations to Rob Rader on that Coastal Financial Pole Award. Moving on to the rest of our grid. Kevin Orlando Jr. will start to his outside, and that was the lap times you were talking about. We're splitting hairs again here. We just picking up where we left off in heat number 2, 27 on the high line going into 1. Row number 2 belongs to Jeremy Burns, the fan favorite. Alex Forget Berube, 2-time winner this season. He'll start in the 4th position. 5th spot goes to Trevor Erhardt. Carter Lenz in the 66 will start in 6th. 7th spot goes to Nick Alves in the 24, Trevor Keith in 8th. And rounding out the top 10, it's Grant Thorpe in the 77, Grant Turner in the 39.
Coming back to the 11th position here, it will be the 45 of Tyler Harrison. Travis Gilbert in that 22 machine lines up 12th. 13th tonight will be Michael Bennett in the 14 machine. Michael Call in the 89 alongside him. And 15th tonight, it is Justin Ritchie with that 49.113, and then some familiar faces from the Open. Dakota Floyd with the random spin will be gridded 16th. 17th and 18th will be your heat winners, Matt Robinson and Kyle Stewart. Brandon Richardson, I believe, taking the flag here as well, will be rolling off 19th.
Have to go back there and look there at the 8 car. This will be added to the tail end of this. I thought we were going to have 17 cars. It's 19 out on the grid here tonight, so I apologize for that. My math a little bit off here, but, you know, what wasn't off, the math that iRacing had to calculate instantaneously for qualifying, Heat 2, and when these drivers come around to lead a lap, I mean, 4 wide across the line, some of these points, we're really testing the service and the connections.
Yeah, that we are. It's been a fun time so far with the heat races. Now the main event squared up, ready to rock and roll. 19 cars going to fire off here, upwards to close to 160 in just a moment. And tell you what, sounds like there's a bit of a cash prize on the line here for the winner here tonight. Sounds like $30 up for grabs for whoever takes home the All-Star win tonight.
It's the main event that you've all been waiting for. Chapman Cup Series All-Star Night. The All-Star Showdown, presented by Shield, is live and racing from Auto Club. 19 cars into turn 1. Lap 1 will go to Rob Rader. He had to fight hard for it, though. He was contested 2 or 3 different times across that line. At the 27 of Kevin Orlando, the 9 of Jeremy Burns on the bottom. And they're looking 3-4 wide all the way through this field. Check up on the outside, though. A touch on the door. The 45 of Harrison, I believe he got in to Trevor Keith. I'm not sure if that was the 45, 15. I'm not sure who that was on the outside. Yeah, it was the 15.
You see, this is looking a little reminiscent of like a 2011 or 2012 Talladega. A lot of 2-car tandems going down the back straightaway. So we see cars shifting for position all over the place. 4, 5 wide off of 4. That isn't going to work.
Alex
Heavy wreck
Forget's
into the
around.
outside wall. Big
The
wreck.
19 gets
Scored
turned
is
here.
the 78 on the screen. That Martin Truex Jr. throwback. not looking great. Kind of looking like the end of 2015 Martinsville, 2016 Martinsville.
Rough ride there. I believe that was Trevor Keith that ran into the door of the 78. Again, reminder, there is no damage on this service for this particular race, and they've deactivated the damage model, but they can still get damage. When you hit the wall, you see right here initial hit into the wall. Some tires are going to bobble around, and guys are going to pick up a little bit of damage as it will repair itself. So you saw the 8 car do some loops through the grass, and then the front end looked good again. So thankfully for him and a few others, these cars they rebound rather well.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing for an all-star event, you know, when you have the ability to keep yourself in competition. Can't imagine there'll be too many takers for pit road this time.
We got that stage coming up. I mean, lap 20 is what it's all about. Again, Kyle Stewart, Matt Robinson, some drivers that won their way into this event. The 11 of Robinson has worked his way up to 13th position after starting back in 17th. He'll be on the inside here. And he is oh so familiar with. And then just behind that, you have the 10 of Stewart and the 57 of Floyd biding their time, but they worked well together in heat number 1, where Stewart able to hold on to that lead that Dakota Floyd had pushed him out to.
The lights off on the pace car here. They'll be getting going again this time by everyone. Oh, they're trying to get a little heat in the tires, and with damage off Rob Rader. Yeah, maybe a little heat under the helmet there as well with Michael Call and Rob Rader. They everyone on the headset here trying to let them know, all right, you know, you can heat up the tires, but maybe calm down on, you know, going the length of the track to avoid that. Luckily, damage is off, so it won't affect either of them on the restart. But it'll be Rader and Call, that front row, Orlando Jr. and Burns row 2. We'll see how they sort this one out when this thing gets going again.
So here we go for lap number 5 out of 50. 16 to go. And a first gear restart for Michael Call. Is it going to be enough at the line? Rader has it going into turn 1. They're going to get really aggressive here.
That was a pretty good launch from the 89. The 9 didn't quite get up there with them. The Raider going to jump out to the lead with Kevin Orlando Jr. hot on his heels, pushing him off of turn 2.
And it just sounds like a can full of bees going around here tonight. 4 cylinders working overtime, but at 158 miles per hour into turns 3 and 4 already, up to full song.
Coming off of turn 4, Rob Rader hanging down by the apron. Now taking a peek to the inside, it's Grant Thorpe. He's hauling the mail on the inside, and he's looking to take the lead away, but Kevin Orlando Jr. up high is going to contest it there, going through 1 and 2.
And you can tell these guys are having fun. I mean, I don't think I've seen Trevor Keith smile this much behind the wheel ever. He's having a great time. You can see how much
he's working that wheel, too. He is putting a lot behind it right now to keep this thing lined up and keeping that 77 up in front of him. Trevor Keith doing a good job. You can see he's got a big smile there. He's trying to keep an eye on what's going on. There's just a lot happening right now.
3 wide for the top spot. Grant Thorpe on the bottom. Rader, your pole sitter, takes the lead for the time being. They get loose again, and they're going to pinch 4 wide into 1.
Oh, Grant Turner caught right in the middle of all of it. That is not the place you want to be if you're the 39. Cars to your outside, in front of you, behind you, below you. No place is safe. You just got to keep your head down, and hopefully everyone does what they're supposed to do as well. Oh, Grant Turner's around just as we jumped on board. Oh, huge wreck down the back straightaway. That's the happiest you'll ever see Grant after a wreck, I tell you that much.
Caught him off guard. We got him on the camera immediately. Caught me off guard.
Yeah, I was about to say, didn't even have time to wave before he was going up into the wall there. I'll have to take a look at that from outside of the cockpit. We got a great view of what that was like from Grant Turner's point of view, but from the sky cam here, let's see how this unfolded. Looks like Robinson and Trevor Keith maybe got into it a little bit, and that collected the entire back of the field. My goodness. Taking one more look here on board with Kyle Stewart. Yeah, nowhere to go for the 10. That's a terrifying sight, pointed the wrong way in the oncoming traffic.
41 there, Trevor Erhardt involved in it as well. And the Kool-Aid, oh yeah, on the back, facing the wrong way.
You know, Kool-Aid Man famous for busting through walls. Kyle Stewart not able to do that one. He just bounced off the wall that time.
Well, I think we need to pull somebody up here. This is obviously having a good time. I don't think anybody here is going to be negative about what's going on this racetrack. So I'll let you take your pick here, Alex. Anybody you want.
Yeah, let's see if we can pull in someone who just had a rather eventful couple minutes, but oh, never mind. I was going to try to see if we could pull in our dear friend Grant Turner, but I actually don't see him in the chat here. So there goes my first idea. I was going to try to pull someone from that wreck.
I don't have Grant Turner in the Discord here. Do double back up, though, here on lap number 9. We'll go back green on lap 10, so a little bit of a shortened caution. And, of course, you know, with no damage, these guys don't have to come down pit road. It only makes sense to speed up this yellow flag, as it takes almost a minute 15 to get around this place at pace speed.
Which, you know, sounds like a lot, and then you remember that even under green, it's taking them about 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Just for the nature of capping out at like 158, 160 or so in the draft. So that's, yeah, that's about how it's going to go.
Well, and you got what appears to be Paul Walker starting on the outside in the third row. Number 9 of Jeremy Burns, Nissan Skyline.
Got the Nissan Skyline chasing the U.S. postal truck. It's always a fun time. Pace car going to peel off. Rader and Thorpe going to lead them back to the restart zone.
Here we go again. Rader with the command on the lead. And what is on that hood?
That is our dear friend Psyduck, the Pokemon that is constantly confused. Poor guy's gonna have a migraine just staring at the set of eyeballs out of his rear view.
Rader looking at the mirror there. As Tyler Harrison tries to catch them all. 3 wide.
We've got ourselves quite the event going on up the front. There is the postal truck trying to take the lead there for Grant Thorpe. He's going to have it temporarily, but that Nissan Skyline from Jeremy Burns is rolling fast on the outside right now. Yeah, the All-Star race is a ton of fun.
Well, this must be why my package was delayed. It said that it depended on how many cautions were at Auto Club before it would arrive. And the 77 leads that time by on lap 11.
So far, so good, though. 3 wide continues at the front of the field. Rob Rader trying to slide up maybe a hair, try to take away a little bit of that lane from the 77. Thorpe, though, going to pinch the exit back down on the 53, and they will just run 3 abreast down the back straightaway. Look at this absolute duel. Nick Alves getting to the back bumper now of Thorpe. It's the 77 going to slide down to that bottom lane.
Back on board with Grant Turner. He was peeking 4 wide. The 10 of Kyle Stewart closed that door. They're going to get really tight here through the tri-oval. Top spot, Thorpe on the bottom.
24 Valves giving him a push. Rader's going to play both lines, moves up the racetrack, and now has the 9 of Burns giving him a push.
Fantastic stuff we've got going on right here. 3 wide, 4, 5 wide, even deeper in the field.
There it is.
All the way up to Trevor Keith. We were talking under commercial, were they going to push 5, 6 wide? We just saw it there in 1 and 2. Miraculously, everyone is still in one piece. Is Kyle Stewart bouncing around now? Everything getting out of sorts. Grant Turner trying to hold on to it. He's going to. 3 wide at the front. Here comes Alex Forget for the lead.
4 wide for second spot. The Bluey 11 hits the 78. That's labeled as the 19 on your scoring, and Nick Alves somehow leads a lap, but Michael calls around through the tri-oval.
That was an accident just waiting to happen. They were running 4, 5, almost 6 wide down the back straightaway.
Up front, Alex, and it happened in the tail end of this field.
It really felt like it was going to be. I mean, they almost did with Kyle Stewart and Grant Turner there going into turn 3, but instead it's right at the tail end of this group. You see Michael Call, the white, black, and pink car there. 4 wide in the last row of the field, just gets squeezed there with Bennett and Linz. And that's going to take out both of them and drop that 89 all the way down.
This is on board with Bennett. I think he followed a car up the track a little bit there. Back this up one more time on our blimp camera. But just a mob of cars going into 3 and 4. So
absolutely unreal. Yeah. It's a miracle we haven't seen someone just lose the car yet with the amount of wash that's probably coming off these cars, but yeah, 3-car wreck here at the tail end of the field. We'll group these things up, and it was before that window would open for the stage. We were outside of that 5 in closing, so we continue to forge on here with Nick Alves, Grant Thorpe at the front of the field. Alex Forget, who, mind you, was a part of the lap 1 or 2 caution, has worked his way back up to 3rd, and Tyler Harrison holding on to that 4th spot.
It's not over till it's over. You want to see that checkered flag for the stage completed, as Nick Alves has his work cut out for him. I guarantee you these next 5 laps are going to be the most important that he's ran all race long. 24, 77, 19, 45, and 53. The top 5. The 11, 9, 22, 8, and 39. For the top 10, you've got some drivers that won their way into this thing, and only one of them has had some success since getting in on that second heat, and that's Matt Robinson, who will be restarting on the outside of Rob Rader and just giving him a little hug.
Yeah, we've seen some of those guys, though, be some comers and goers. Dakota Floyd got up to the front a little bit before he dropped back. Kyle Stewart was right in the thick of things before that caution came out, but he's dropped toward the tail end of the field here. Pace car are going to peel off, and they're going to get ready to go here to conclude the opening stage.
The Gals, the command car into the restart zone. It is going to be
they're already wrecking.
The 77. They're not going to save it.
Oh.
Rob Rader, it's going to give it to Nick Alves.
So I believe with that being within the 5-lap window, that should give the stage to Nick Alves. Should at least.
I can confirm Alves is going to have it there. It was at lap 15. We had just drove 100 feet into lap 15, but yes, it was lap 15.
I don't even know if the entire field had taken lap 15 yet, or if it was just the front half. So that is, I believe, going to be credited as the stage. But yeah, I mean, this was just a horrendous restart up from the front of the field, too. We'll take a look here from the Skycam to see what happened. And 77 didn't look like he got going great. I wonder if he missed a shift or something, because that got checked up big time on the outside lane.
I'm going to go on board here called it, Alex. He's stuck in, I believe, second gear. Could not get it to shift up, and you saw on the outside the big checkup as we race back to pit road. Interestingly enough, we're racing to pit road now.
Everyone filing on in. Looks like there's going to be a couple of cars who elected to stay out. Everyone entering a closed pit, mind you.
That is, hey, let's just go back and watch the race to pit road.
There we go. Well, Nick Alves had it pretty handily. I tell you where the action really picked up there was just behind him. You see Jeremy Burns forcing the issue on the outside of Ford Jet as they go through 3 and 4. These guys are just hauling it, trying to get the pit lane. Reminiscent of racing back to the stripe during a caution, you know, a couple decades ago.
So Kevin Orlando has 8 laps on this stint, and they would not have enough fuel to make it to the end of this thing, but the 27 came down, topped off before everyone else on this stage, and now he finds himself up front as we still have some tires heating up. Dakota Floyd and the 15 of Trevor Keith almost made contact there on the backstretch. I believe that's duct tape holding that entire car together.
Yeah, and honestly, no better event for it. I mean, that is, especially with some of the wrecks that we've already seen, maybe not a bad idea. He's also selling this thing after the race, if anybody's curious.
Or sale. No contact
Can reach out to PK here. Yeah. Maybe he's just trying to sell it to the other people on track. Who's to say?
Let's ask
Justin Ritchie. He's got a topographical map on that thing tonight.
Yeah, he does. It's very throwback-esque. I think we could find... Do we have a Trevor Keith in the Discord? We do. He's in general chat, so let's bring him down to the studio. Trevor Keith, it's Bradley Cooper and Alex Gagnon in the booth. Hey, I gotta ask, how much you want for that?
About $600 probably.
$600, is that what it's gonna be worth when it's over with?
If we get to another wreck, we'll probably lower it down about 200 or so.
Yeah, and if you win the race, it goes up to 1,000.
15.
Yeah, 1,500. So far, it's been action-packed. I don't think I've seen so many smiles in the driver cams while guys are wrecking. But how difficult is it to push this thing around the racetrack and stay 3-4 wide for 10 laps?
It's actually a little more difficult than you think. When me and Grant Thorpe were rolling to the front there on the bottom, he cut to the apron on the front stretch, and I was trying to push him, and I almost wrecked him. And I was like, Grant, I don't know if I feel comfortable pushing you in the apron right here. So it's a little more difficult than you'd think, but it's a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun out here.
Well, Trevor, you going to restart here in the second row. Don't miss a shift. We saw that just a moment ago.
Yeah.
And Trevor, good luck, man.
Thank you.
It's Trevor Keith in the number 15. He'll restart in the 4th position as we get set to go back green for the second stage of your All-Star event. Kevin Orlando Jr. leading them into turn 1. Pace car pulls off, and here we go, officially, stage 2 at lap 19.
Looks like a pretty good launch there for the inside lane. Kevin Orlando Jr. off to a good start there. Justin Ritchie getting a mirror full of Trevor Keith trying to get into turn 1 here. Dakota Floyd, Kyle Stewart linking up here. A couple of guys who ran against each other in the heats earlier tonight, trying to work their way to the front. They're both in the top 5 as they run.
Big push here from Dakota Floyd to the back end of Kevin Orlando, but they've got company to the outside. Here comes the 15. We just talked to him, and he's going to take all $600 and put it up on the outside in 3 and 4.
Trying to get this thing to carry some speed in that middle lane. Not finding a ton of success that time because Dakota Floyd is laying into the back bumper of Kevin Orlando. Here we go. They are all fanning out. We've learned nothing from the last major wreck. Here we go. 4 wide for the lead.
And Call holds it down on the bottom. The 10, the 15, they make contact. They hold on to it somehow. And now the
there
45,
goes Harrison.
there they go.
Psyduck hard into the outside wall. He'll collect Forget, the bluey car of Matt Robinson around. Well, it has been a tough night for those cars running 4 or 5 wide. But boy, has it been a ton of fun to watch up here.
The check up there with the 10, he got into the 15, the 45 got into the backup, the 11 didn't check up in time, and there's the domino effect. Tyler Harrison pays the price for it, falls all the way to the tail end of this field with Matt Robinson, who had worked his way after racing his way into this event, into the top 5, was looking for the lead at one point, now back in 19th.
And with no damage, unlimited fast repairs, they're just going to keep running 4 or 5 wide and let this thing roll. Yeah, it's just, you see this thing unfolding, a chain reaction working through the field. Didn't take much when everyone's already a little off kilter. Just a little extra momentum, a little extra tap. That's all she wrote.
Just looking for the right camera angle. This is probably going to do the best. And Burns just peeling it off the racetrack. I thought he was involved in something there. He was all the way down off the apron. But nonetheless, it's rack them back up. Damage-free on every one of these cars, guaranteed. We still have plenty of action left to be done here for All-Star Night. And you are watching the Chapman Cup Series live on V-Speed. Don't go anywhere. More coverage right after this.
Chapman's been around for 32, almost 33 years. You know, it's a great company. We've built it from 10 people not all that long ago to 32 people today. We continue to grow. We're hiring people all the time. If there's one thing that I could do, like before my time is up at Chapman, it is making sure that we've built a company that will stand the test of time. And my goal as the current owner of the company, or one of the owners of the company, is to ensure that we can pass the ownership of the organization on to the next generation of people coming up the ranks today.
Welcome back live to Auto Club. It is All-Star Night, the showdown. We had 2 heats to bring 2 drivers in and a random 3 extra drivers in this, and 19 cars to start this race off. We are past stage 1 at lap 20, and it actually fell a little bit short at lap 15. You're seeing Michael Call and Kevin Orlando Jr. on the front row for this restart. Green flag, and we're back underway. Sure, we're going to see some more 4 and 5 wide action.
Big slide across the nose there from Michael Call. The outside lane with a fantastic jump. He's going to drop down in front of the 27. Not a move we've seen a lot of tonight. But it's going to give Call the early advantage through the corner. Here comes Kyle Stewart trying to follow him through on the outside as he gets moved up the hill a little bit there by Orlando, who's going to look back to the inside, 2 wide for the lead.
The only thing missing from this event is underglow on all of these cars. I think that would really complete it. Just
that
based off
and
the sound.
being able to, yeah. That and, you know, maybe we got to blast some Eurobeat over the broadcast.
Wow.
They almost wrecked there. They put a good effort in to try to go sideways, but we miraculously stay green. Michael Call is going to lead the lap by 0.02 of a second as everyone is just sliding around this racetrack.
There's Trevor Erhardt. He's worked his way up to 4th. He had the advantage on the inside. Kevin Orlando kind of closed the door there the shortest way around as he comes up to bump draft with that Ford Mustang. 2 Mustangs giving a push and a shove from the 41 to the 27 on the outside, though, with Call. Car in the wall.
Oh, Al's in the wall. Alves is around, and he's going to collect several others. Big wreck for Michael Call, Brandon Richardson, and Jeremy Burns. That outside lane gets absolutely decimated.
And bouncing it off the rev limiter. Leave Michael Call a little bit upset there. But beyond his control, and man, Jeremy Burns went for a ride right there.
Yeah, him and Richardson both. We'll take a look here. This is going into turn 3 where this falls apart. Erhardt took a look to the upside there, and then just a run that I think got a little out of control. No, Colwitz around before that. Oh, wow, big slide there for the 9. It's the full 360.
He's okay. Back this up one more time. You're going to see the move to the outside. There's the 24 of Alves. And somehow Alves. No, he didn't. Just kidding. Thought he was going to make it through that.
Yeah, not quite. He survived the initial part, I think, for a moment, but a lot of cars who got caught up in that one, particularly anyone who was, yeah, and that wiped out that entire high lane. Tell you what, yeah, I was going to say no one really from that upper lane really was able to avoid it. If you were down low, you were safe, but even anywhere from that 3rd lane or 4th lane, just no chance.
So we have another moment here. We never had an opportunity to talk to some of these drivers that had won their way in. And so I think this is a prime opportunity to try to get one of those drivers up here that did win their heat. And it's Kyle Stewart, who's currently running in the 2nd position. And Kyle Stewart, it's Bradley Cooper, Alex Gagnon in the booth. You got a copy?
I have you.
Well, Kyle, you win your way in here. You're in here on merit, and you deserve to be here as you're up in the 2nd position. But it looks like organized chaos here for the Kool-Aid number 10.
That's a good way of putting it right now. So, yeah, just trying to hang in there with the boys.
Well, we might want to add some sugar to this Kool-Aid. It's I don't know how your grandma used to make it, but I know that, mine used to skimp on the sugar. So, you know, we just had colored water, and it never really tasted that great. Hopefully, that's not the case for you tonight. Anybody want to shout out real quick before we go back green?
Just thank the teammates before we go green here, and you guys for broadcasting and the league for putting this stuff on for us.
There you have it. Kyle Stewart going to restart here on the outside. So here we go. For another one. Yeah, I feel like tonight's race, it's hard to be as serious as we normally are, as professional as we normally are. Just a lot going on, and I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are as well watching this on V-Speed. It's flag-to-flag coverage all season long, and I think this is those races that are one-offs, we got to appreciate them for what they are, as this has been a spectacle, to say the least.
Yeah, spectacle is the only true word, I think, to encapsulate what we're witnessing here tonight. Folks at home, if you've got a favorite paint scheme that you've seen so far tonight, feel free to drop it. We'll give some drivers some love for pulling paint schemes they don't normally get to run in this series, with this being the one-off. Give them some love down there in the chat. Let them know that you were seeing what they put on the car tonight and appreciated it. As we are watching a great battle unfold here, Kyle Stewart not losing an inch on Kevin Orlando Jr. on the opening lap here. In fact, he's actually going to be leading this lap thanks to a good push from Forget.
And a split down the middle as the 27 got loose there coming out of turn 4. That opened up the door for Dakota Floyd, a pinch down in the corner from the 10. And the 27 pushes up into the left rear. It's not enough to turn him, but man, did he use up every inch of that racetrack trying to get to the inside.
Now Stewart door-to-door with Dakota Floyd. These two guys bouncing off each other. They met in the open. Oh, there goes Floyd. Justin Ritchie around as well, but both of them are off the racing line, so the green flag continues to hang in the air. An incredibly devastating break for those two drivers. They were having a fantastic run here tonight.
I think the 10 just trying to side draft. He ends up bouncing off the 50 or the 78, which is labeled as the 19. But Floyd, 57, And I believe that was Justin Ritchie. Yeah, the 55 that got caught up in that as well.
As we jump back to the front here, Travis Gilbert, Matt Robinson now going the battle for the front. TK in there as well. Trevor Keith sitting second on the inside row. Michael Call has already worked his way back to the top 5. I tell you what, that's someone who's had a lot of speed here tonight. It's at 89.
Look at Bennett on the outside. They're going to go 3 wide for the 3rd position. Bennett had the momentum there for a moment. Thought he was going to get up there and maybe compete for 2nd spot. But once he got out in that air on the high line, it fell like a rock, and he's got to get the momentum built back up. To the apron, Call in the grass.
He's going to get back on the apron here without losing a ton of track position. Slides back up behind Harrison. In the grand scheme of things, he only lost about a second's worth of time, but that did drop him from that top 5 to outside the top 10. Now he's looking back to the inside of the 45. Big moves happening in front of him. Rob Rader drops to the inside, then back to the middle. Contact with Robinson and Gilbert. Oh, and Kyle Stewart's around. You know, there's a quote I heard referring to the highest scoring basketball game or college basketball game of all time, but I think it applies here tonight as well, which is this is not a sporting event that you can just normally quantify. This is 1,000 sledgehammers falling simultaneously out of a thundercloud.
1,000 sledgehammers it is, and you know, all the sheet metal that we'd probably be picking up on this racetrack had the damage not been turned off tonight. I mean, kudos to these guys for doing what they're doing. They are putting on a great show, but man, is it difficult to see, you know, how much these guys almost don't like each other right now. It looks like nobody giving an inch.
Now, everyone has decided that, you know, even though they'll all have the speed, they're running the same pack. If they don't make the move right now, that's it. So it has been aggressive from the moment the green flags dropped here tonight, and no one really giving an inch. Everyone's going for it, especially with the damage being off. People feeling very confident, trying to put the car where they want. It's been a lot to keep on top of here. I mean, we've been calling 3, 4, 5 wide action all the way through this field. A couple of big wrecks. It's been quite the showcase here tonight.
The 8 car there, we were on board with Brandon Richardson as he got caught up just at the tail end of that. And the Kellogg's number 8 will get back up to speed somewhere around the 12th position as we should be racking them back up double file this time around.
We had a couple of cars on pit road doing some service.
Might have to delay it here.
Yeah, I think they might. Oh, no. Lights are off on the pace car. So they might have to try to rush and catch up. But Justin Ritchie, Dakota Floyd, Kyle Stewart, all trying to get off of pit road now. Same with Tyler Harrison.
And again, not exactly familiar with the size of the fuel tanks on these cars, but if it's anything like a street stock, it's not much. It might be 11 gallons to top these things up, and you know, you're probably only gonna get 20 or so laps on the stint before you run out of fuel. 25, I say this is the limit. I can
Lights
hear you
off
mathing. I can hear you mathing,
Yeah,
Alex.
I started trying to put some stuff together here, and it's just one of those things where, you know, I don't have a stocks experience myself, so personally, unfortunately, I do not know off the top of my head, but it is it's been fun to watch no matter what ends up happening here.
Here we go on lap 33. Green flag back underway, and the aggression level getting higher as you see these guys can't catch up to the tail end of the field. Look at Dakota Floyd. Look at him go. I don't know if that's going to be a legal restart or not, but I mean they delayed the green or pushed the green there, and I guess he just took the opportunity.
Pulled a Kyle Busch from a couple of years ago, just roared past the field on the outside. Looks like he's given some of it back, though, so I'm not sure if that was the illegal start or not. I think ultimately I'm going to say maybe it wasn't, because he did hand over quite a few of those positions back to the field as we see 4 wide going through turn 4. Oh, Justin Ritchie and Dakota Floyd nearly get into it there.
And it's 4 wide here.
Yeah. Nowhere to go if you're Trevor Erhardt right now on the Cartoon Network machine.
Look at the battle for the lead as they use each other up. Michael Call in the middle. Move the 11 of Robinson up the racetrack, and now contact with the 22. They're going to look 4 wide down the back straightaway. I'm running out of breath.
Michael Call's going to take the lead here going into turn 3. He's going to drop down from lane 3 to lane 2 all the way down the 1.
Oh.
He's going to leave Bennett out to dry as Robinson gets put into the fence. A couple of cars pinballing their way up there to collect the 11. He's going to lose a ton of track position. Call's got the lead. Here comes Bennett to the outside. And now to the inside, Trevor Keith 3 wide for the lead going into turn number 1.
That time by, I believe, Keith, as we have trouble in the back.
Oh,
the
big
41's
wreck.
around.
Justin Ritchie around as well. That'll bring out the caution once again here on lap 35. The dangers of running in such close proximity to each other. All it takes is one false move, and there she goes. Starts there with Kyle Stewart and Nick Alves.
Sure, Stewart maybe gets the front end a little bit upset. He tried to push the 24 there. This was a chain reaction at that point. No one really at fault there, but watch the 41. He's actually trying to push Trevor Erhardt, but you see after that push goes up into the 24 valves, and 55 of Justin Ritchie just didn't even know it was happening.
No, he was driving 1 second. The next second, he's completely off the ground. He got popped there by the 41 and went flying skyward for a second. Take a look here at the onboard with the 55. Just watch how quickly this happens. Just bam, up and over, into the wall. Well, maybe not up and over, but certainly up and then over into the fence.
We're running out of laps here, Alex, as we'll be approaching that 10 to go mark in just a moment's time. We'll take the green flag just shy of that. But with the way this has been going, what do you think the odds of those green-white checkers reaching that limit? I know we said unlimited, but it is 15 on the cap. iRacing does eventually tell you enough's enough, but we're almost guaranteed to have at least one of them at this point.
Yeah, I mean, with the way this has been going, I would say it feels fairly likely. But also, I don't know if I'd have it any other way, the way this one's been going. I mean, we saw it in both heat races, and then with this one here tonight. So I think we'd be, honestly, we should be probably expecting to see that more than anything else.
I've been wrong before, but based off the statistics for tonight, as you look at the race recap on the top of your screen, feels like it was more than 8 cautions, but it's been 15 lead changes. Nick Alves with the stage win. It ended at lap 15 with a false shift from the 77. Collected Rob Rader and a few others on that restart at lap 15, and that ended the stage a little bit early as we were trying to race to lap 20 to complete that. So a third of the way through the event almost. And I know for some of these guys, they're wondering what could have happened had we went green. There was a lot of runs setting up there on the inside.
Yeah, there certainly was. It is, it's been tough to really put together any kind of strategy for this race, I think, if you're one of these drivers, because just as soon as you feel like you've got something put together, we're back under yellow. With a 4-wide incident, something that's happened. It's been a tricky one for sure to try to figure out what you need to do, but overall, you just kind of keep the hammer down, and as the green flag's back in the air, boy, we almost had a wreck right there at the line. Trevor Keith, Michael Bennett getting into it as they make their way into turn 1.
Already setting up the 3 wide, going into 1 and 2. As you saw Nick Alves and Rob Rader down on the bottom of the racetrack. We've got a car off the surface. Not sure who that is. I think it's Carter Lenz. No, it's the 39 of Grant Turner. He's trying to collect it. I think he's got it back underneath of him, but he'll fall to the tail end.
Yeah, he's going to drop to the back, try to catch the draft here. Hopefully he doesn't lose it if you're him. Oh, big wreck. Robinson, Travis Gilbert, Kevin Orlando Jr., and more. I think that's a look of pure astonishment on the face of Trevor Keith, just trying to figure out what happened.
So let's back this up on an instant replay, and even after the fact, the 77 turned around there. Michael Call tries to go in between the 27 and the 15.
And honestly, I can't say I blame him. He tried making it work. And then, here we go. Here's another look at it.
He's about this wide. You see those 2 bars?
Oh,
he would have made it.
Yeah, just, you know, he has, his car is 1 car wide. The gap was about 0.8 of a car wide. As you see, that's what happened to the 77. Looks like him and Carter Lenz were a part of that one.
That happened after the fact. You saw the turn up front there, and there's a little checkup. 45, 41, 53, and...
Oh, yeah. Never mind, not Carter Lenz. Sorry, that was Trevor Erhardt. Another shiny red one out there tonight. Boy, Kyle Stewart, lucky bounce there to slide right through that.
And the Kool-Aid Man splits 2 cars going into 3. He's not done.
I know he ended up getting tangled up there with, I want to say that was Trevor Erhardt that started that front half of the incident in the first place. But boy, did he just slide right on through the second half of that one like nothing happened. Or sorry, that was Michael Bennett he got a piece of in the opening bit. But look at how close this is coming through this part of the wreck. You can see it there on the right side of your screen. So he's just inching his way through.
Trying to get a good angle of it here.
There it is.
And this is the screenshot that everybody's going to take. And yeah, I think you just put, oh yeah, at the bottom right corner. This just keeps getting better and better. And we're down to 10 laps to go when we go back green with Michael Call, Brandon Richardson. Jeremy Burns has found his way back up to the top 3. Rob Rader, how long will it last for some of these cars? They've been in and out of the top 5 all night long. Michael Call has not been afraid to force his nose in any situation if he thinks he can gain a spot. And of course, Shield sponsoring this event here tonight. Shield plastered on that 89, trying to go out there and win that money back for that company. Richardson on the outside. Here we go for 10 laps left. All-Star Showdown from Auto Club. Chapman Cup Series. It's going to get heated.
Michael Call, good launch. Going to lead this field into turn 1. Richardson and Burns in that group. Here comes Rob Rader, the pole sitter, back up into the mix as well. He's up the 4th. Already some contact bouncing around that inside lane. Things getting really stacked up down there. As you see Jeremy Burns just laying into the back bumper of Michael Call. Richardson out to a great advantage here. Rob Rader really helping get him forward. He's going to drop to the apron faster than the 8 did. Rob Rader now going to take the lead potentially. As you see, he just works his way up the track, moving the 8 up the hill. But that opens the door on the inside for Michael Call to fight back.
And Richardson had the momentum but loses all that ground. He had no help behind to keep that car going. And now it's going to be a 2-horse race but you can tack on a few extra horses with the draft. All these cars on the bottom have a lot of help. But there's a checkup, a stab on the throttle there for Burns. He got loose out of 1 and 2, and now they're going to wreck again.
Big one cutting across the entire middle of the field. They're still wrecking down the back straightaways. Forget sliding around. And he goes hard into the inside wall. And this thing will get grouped up once again as we inch all the more closer to the end of this one. Less than 10 to go.
There's 4, almost 5 wide. I think it was 5 wide. That's where it all fell apart.
That is indeed where it all fell apart. Trevor Keith hard into the wall. Take a look here, 4 wide right through the middle of the field. Makes it 5 wide when Bennett gets in there. And just not enough room coming off the corner. Everyone starts pinballing and washing up the track big time.
I think Alex Forget was just ready for that wreck to be over with.
Yeah, I think so too. Just sliding around waiting for this thing to run its course. Take a look on board here. Big hit from Richardson. Slides around back to that inside wall.
They'll go out there and pick up the spoiler for that machine. Leave it back on and try to rack him back up one more time. I think we're going to get the 1 to go signal again. It's going to be just over 5 laps to go. The lights do go out on the pace car. And we flip-flop the top 5 again.
Lights off on the pace car. It'll be Rob Rader, Michael Call up front so far today. 10 cautions, 17 lead changes. Nick Alves was your stage winner. For those who may have joined late, the 2 open races, they were won by Kyle Stewart and then Matt Robinson. And an absolute photo finish over Dakota Floyd. Those were our heats that got us here. And we are shaping up for what could potentially, although granted, with the way tonight's gone, unlikely, final restart of the night.
And your stage winner there with Nick Alves and the random car Dakota Floyd getting his way in off of the spin. And by spin, we mean random driver elected in here. There was a list of names, and it kind of went in order of who finished where. And Floyd, of course, right on the edge, less than 1,000th of a second across the line to finish out heat number 2. But it's Michael Call with another command on this restart. Rob Rader to the inside. The pace car pulling off for what could be the final time, but let's not kid ourselves. We have plenty of green-white checkers to sort this one out as they'll door touch for the restart zone, and this could cause chaos. Here we go.
Yeah, that was getting really physical before they even got to the line. Rob Rader, Michael Call not given an inch here down the front straightaway. Nick Alves looks to the inside. He got a piece of the corner of Rob Rader. Rader, though, able to hold on to it. He will jump out to the early lead. Next time by, it'll be 5 laps to go here in the All-Star Showdown.
You saw that check there. The door check sent the 9 of Jeremy Burns all the way back to around the 10th position, now in 13th as they're looking 5 wide again, going into 3 and 4. Oh, the 22!
Oh, big wreck. Luckily with damage off, he'll get that repaired in just a moment here, but he does lose the draft, which is going to kill his chances here if this thing stays green. Rader and Robinson, your front row, 5 laps to go. Alves, Floyd, and Linz all in the mix as well.
And Floyd gets a little push there from the 41. That was aggressive going into 1 and 2. Bad push, got sideways, almost helped the 11 complete that pass for the lead, but he will not. Rob Rader back to the top spot as they go into 3.
Nick Alves, good push there to the 53 to give him a bit of an advantage here going through the corner. Only car running single file inside the entirety of the top 10. Everything else is
Burns
double
is
wide
around.
behind him. Oh, big wreck. Burns, Turner, Erhardt, Michael Bennett airborne. Michael Call caught up on it as well. Tyler Harrison in there. Alex Forget wheeling it back to the apron. Boy, oh boy. And that will set up our first attempt tonight, I believe, at a green-white checkered.
Man, Bennett off the ground. The 9 left the ground as well with that hit to the outside wall. Here we go into 3. You can see just locked on the back end there, and you can push in these cars in the corner, but you have to be very careful. And right there, the 41 just not lifting off the throttle at all. Down into the left rear of the 9, sent him around. 39 involved in it again. Grant Turner probably getting a little frustrated at this point. It was all smiles a moment ago, but I'm starting to see maybe the realization that we're running out of time.
Yeah, we are basically at the end of the lap counter here, so this is really just whatever you can make of it. We'll see if they shorten this one as well. I believe they're going to. Yep, lights are off on the pace car.
Well, we have an opportunity. 3 laps to go. We're going into our first overtime, and we have Rob Rader in the broadcast booth, the 4-time champion. Are you going to get another win here in the Cup Series?
Sure. I mean, this can really go any which way. Hey, I'll put it to you this way. I feel like I've been used up by everybody the entire way through the race, and we're not going down without a fight, so that's the plan.
Well, we've got plenty of green-white checkers to do so, and that Chapman 53 has seen the lead, it's seen the back, it's seen the wall, it's seen the lid. I don't know what else you could do to it.
We've been everywhere. Start in the front, wreck to the back, back to the front. Fortunately, we've got some pseudo-friends, semi-friends, if you will, so hopefully we'll have a somewhat clean race to the finish here. But I mean, with these cars, man, they're crazy. You just kind of have to take every run, and whatever happens happens. I mean, it's the all-star race. We're out here having fun, and we'll put on a show for you.
All right, first overtime. Good luck out there, Rob, and maybe we'll get to talk to you in just a moment's time.
Thank you.
Well, our first extension of this race, it's going to be a natural green-white checkered, actually, the way that this is going to fall. So right at lap 49, we're going to take the green flag. This is not counted towards those 15 that we have here tonight. It's going to go green with 2 to go. Natural green-white checkered. It's going to be naturally exciting as they go into turn 1. A great restart here for Rader. Robinson giving them a push, and they pull out about 1/10 of a second over Alves.
We know Robinson knows what it takes to win a close one here. We saw him win that second heat by the slimmest of margins. He's in position to try to do the same here tonight. Rob Rader, the only car standing between him and the lead right now. Alves doing a good job on that outside. Going to get a nice push here from Carter Linz to try to get up there as well. Everything starting to come unglued into 3.
It's those runs that Rader was talking about, but all he wants to see is that white flag, and then he has to hold on for one more lap. On the bottom, here comes Call to the inside, all the way down on the apron. He gained 3 spots. He got back in line one more time around, presented by Erhardt Holmes.
White flag is out. This is going to do it here tonight. Raiders got the lead. Robinson hot on his heels. They fan out 3, 4, 5 wide behind him. Kyle Stewart's around behind him. We stay green. Here we go, chugging to the finish line. More cars wrecking behind him, but it's not in front of the leader, so here we go still. Oh, there goes Robinson.
And here comes Alves to the outside. He has the momentum with the 66 of Carter Linz. Dakota Floyd pinching down on the outside. And Grant Thorpe, where did he come from? All the way from the back of the field to the front in just 2 laps. It's going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. 600, 700ths of a second. Alves with the push, and Rob Rader is gonna get the victory over Tyler Harrison through the middle by 3. No, it's Nick Alves as the timing mark finally catches up by 3/1000ths of a second.
Did Nick Alves really get there coming off of turn 4? If so, that would be absolutely incredible. He was really laboring to get up to speed there coming off the corner, but yeah, it seems like it. Nick Alves by 3/1000ths of a second, your all-star winner.
And Tyler Harrison getting 3rd spot. Again, splitting hairs here by a couple thousandths of a second to finish this one off. And your stage winner somehow figures out a way on the outside with just a last-second push. He's got a little bit more money in his pocket as well as he can claim victory at Auto Club. Just a phenomenal finish. We need to rewind this back, though.
Yeah.
And take a look at it. I don't know how he got just enough there.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either, because it felt like he was nearly a full car length behind off of turn 4, and somehow he just had that car moving down the front straightaway. I'll be honest, from the initial angle we saw, I was fully convinced it was Rob Rader who hit the line first. But you see here, 77 gets a bit of a bump to the 53. Rader gets a half car length ahead. That's where I thought that was going to be it. But Tyler Harrison, hammered down, just continues to hammer the back of the 24. And even here, you know, Thorpe's still on the back bumper of Rader, but Alves with just enough speed. Yeah, he's going to have just enough to get there at the line. Phenomenal work. Perfectly timed.
And we have to do this again, huh? We have to do this again, but this time not as close. That is just enough. That's what 3/1000ths of a second looks like here at Auto Club. Well, he's parked down here on the infield grass, and it's a perfect opportunity to bring him up into the broadcast booth. And I think Alex Gagnon is caught up with your all-star winner.
Hey there, Nick. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, this was a phenomenal all-star race from start to finish. There was so much that's happened. But ultimately, it comes down to a photo finish there at the line. You and Rob Rader, you're about half a car length back coming off of turn 4. Tyler Harrison gives you a push and then jumps to the middle to try to go for it himself. Somehow you had the speed to carry it through. Talk to us that final lap or two. How did you make a way for that to work?
So first off, I guess I just have a horseshoe that I like to win these Mickey Mouse racetrack style drafting tracks. So, but no, the restart, the green white checker restart that we had. Actually, I was waiting for Rob to come back in our chat, but I guess he got dropped in the wrong channel by accident. So I was waiting for him to count us down for the restart because that's what we were doing all night with the regular teammates that we have. But no, I was lucky because I was being the guy starting on the first row on the outside. I was nervous as Carter was behind me. I was nervous for him to jump to the outside and leave me, but he, luckily enough, for the lap and a half coming to the white flag, he kept pushing me, which was very lucky. And then I just stood, tried side drafting Maddie and Rob as much as I could on that last lap, and luckily enough, Harrison stood with me just long enough for me to get a nice little run off of 4. And I saw Harrison shoot to the middle, and I knew if I tried blocking him, I'd probably get turned and turn Rob, and someone else behind us would probably win from like 7th place. So I just let him do his thing. I knew I had the little edge, and Harrison wasn't going to get there. I was just cross my fingers. I didn't know if I was going to beat Rob or not, but luckily I did.
It was, I mean, Between having a photo finish for the heat and then basically a photo finish here for the main event, the mini stocks at Auto Club, not a combo I had ever thought of before tonight, and have put on one hell of a show. These drafting tracks are certainly something. Typically in a moment like this, I'd ask you if there's momentum you can carry away from this going into the back half of the season, but with this being such a difference from the typical running order of how the different car, different track, all that kind of stuff. Is there anything you plan on taking away from this, from positive momentum, or simply going to enjoy the bit of cash that comes with the win and go from there?
So I think you can't really learn anything from doing like one of these off races like this, right? But I think you can definitely take the highs of winning and take away the teamwork that you did with the guys that were in your chat and on your team, and use that as momentum going forward for the push to the playoffs, essentially. But yeah, again, you can't learn anything, but I think just the high and the emotionness of the race itself is what we're going to be riding.
And riding it, I'm sure you will. I mean, that was a ton of fun. How are you feeling, I guess, from that win? I guess I was remiss to ask you, how are you feeling right now, picking up the All-Star win?
So that feels great, honestly. It's always nice to win a race, but it's cool to win these one-off races. You can keep this for the entire year, essentially, and say that you're the 2025 All-Star winner until you come to the 2026 one. So that's the cool part about these races, to win that. But feeling-wise, man, it was. I don't want to say the race was tough. It was more so like it just felt like you couldn't really do anything by yourself. You always needed help, and it just felt like, especially with everyone going 3, 4, 5 wide at times, you were just like clenching yourself at least to hopefully not be involved in a wreck. And luckily enough, you just have to be at the end in these things, and luckily I was.
Well, that you are, and you ended up in victory lane here tonight by 0.03 of a second. Nick, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
Yeah, first off, thanks to you guys, Bradley, Alex. You guys do a fantastic job every single week broadcasting us on our main series and our Monday night series. So thank you guys for always doing the stand-up job and everything that you guys are doing over at V-Speed. Big shout out to obviously the Cup Series and everyone for showing up tonight, for putting on a fantastic show. I know the heats were a great watch. I'm glad that the main event was just as entertaining for everybody. Chapman Environmental Services for being the main sponsor of the Cup Series, Coastal Financial, KLD, Ultimate Siding and Gutting, All About Bugs, Erhardt Homes. Shout out my team Performance, Alex and Bennett. Thanks for always being in there and having fun every single week. To our secondary team, our sister team, EXR, Rob, Caleb, and Jeremy. I know Caleb wasn't here tonight, couldn't make it, but it was great working with those guys. And yeah, can't wait to use this win as a high and move on to next week for an actual points paying race.
Alrighty, Nick. Thank you for joining us up here. Congrats on winning the All-Star Showdown, and hopefully you're able to carry that momentum and we get to talk again next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
That was your All-Star winner, driver for the number 24, Nick Alves, getting it done by 0.03 of a second here tonight, Bradley.
Well, don't go anywhere. We still have more coverage post-race and some of those final race results, and talk to the rest of your top three in just a moment's time. You are watching the Chapman Cup Series All-Star Showdown, presented by Shield. More coverage on V-Speed right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here live for All-Star Night in the Showdown. 2 heats, 50 laps, and a stage. And now we've decided our winner. Nick Alves won it both here tonight in the All-Star event. It was a showdown amongst the best from last season to this season. Winners in points, winners in races, and ultimately drivers that won those heats to come out here and make their way to the front, try to win this thing. Final results up on your screen with 20 lead changes and 11 cautions. Nick Alves, Rob Rader, and Tyler Harrison all separated by less than 0.05 of a second across that start-finish line. And Grant Thorpe with another close finish. He will finish in the 4th position. Dakota Floyd with a top 5. He was on the outside. He was about a 10th back. And there's Carter Lenz, who's going to finish in 6th. Kevin Orlando Jr., he'll finish in 7th. Trevor Erhardt in 8th. Travis Gilbert is going to get 9th position. The fan favorite back to 10th.
And rounding out the field this evening in 11th, it'll be Grant Turner. 12th, Justin Ritchie. 13th will be Michael Bennett, just ahead of Brandon Richardson and Trevor Keith. Matt Robinson will finish 16th here tonight ahead of Alex Forget. Michael Call in 18th. And Kyle Stewart rounds out the all-star field here in the 19th position.
And with those final results, it's time to bring up the rest of your top 3. And our second place finisher by 3/1000ths of a second. Well, Rob, it held together better than I thought it would have. You guys got to the white flag, but everybody behind you had a different plan for the end of this race.
I tried. It wasn't for a lack of trying. I actually thought I had it made coming off of turn 4 there. I had, I think it was Grant Thorpe behind me, and I don't know. I thought I had it made coming off the corner. I couldn't believe that Nick beat me to the line, but I'm glad that if I'm going to get passed for the lead at the line, lose by 3/1000ths of a second, that is Nick Alves. So shout out to Nick. I told him before that last restart, I was like, one of us better win this freaking race, because I'm going to be mad if one of us doesn't come away with it. So definitely a night to be celebrated here with all the RR guys, and the All-Star race is for fun. And, we had a lot of fun tonight. I think we had 3 really close finishes. Hopefully not too many caution laps for the broadcast. I know we had a fair number of cautions, but tried to get through those pretty quick. And, I mean, doesn't get much better than 5-6 wide, I guess. So we had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we got to go back and race the next-gen car again next week, and I can't stand it. But, yeah, fun night. I'm happy with second. I'll go to bed happy tonight.
Well, and, you come to this, we were talking to Nick about how do you apply this. I mean, it's its own thing altogether, but you're also coming off of a race win just last week at Kansas. So the 53 finally starting to put on some top 3s, some good finishes. And this race where everything was stacked against you, you finally found another one here. And does that play any kind of merit to maybe this is the turnaround of the season for you?
I mean, I feel like the easy answer is no, but I mean, realistically, I do feel like there is such a thing as momentum in racing. So, starting off with as much bad luck as I had at the beginning of the year, to turn that around and win the race at Kansas with a pretty, in somewhat dominant fashion, I think, and then to come here and run well in what's kind of a wild card race definitely gives you a little momentum going into the little middle stretch here before we get to the playoffs. So that's definitely welcome. I mean, I'll take a second place finish any day, really. But definitely building towards something, which is cool. You know, hoping we can keep the momentum up. We got some good racetracks coming up for me here soon, so hopefully we can keep it going.
Absolutely. Rob Rader, congratulations on that second place finish. I know this one, not for points. This one's just for bragging rights and a little extra money in your pocket, but nonetheless, you made it exciting. Anybody you want to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, I got to shout out Nick Alves. Congratulations on the win tonight in Coastal Financial KLD that he has on the car. Glad that we got that handled here within the team, or the alliance, I guess you could say. Also, big shout out to Chapman Environmental Services for what they do for the league, for the car. Nick actually made the paint scheme tonight, so shout out to Nick for that. Shout out to Robinson, who was doing his best to work with me there until he got dumped, and also big shout out to Shield Protection Equipment coming on tonight with Michael Call, who I'm not sure what the hell his plan was there on that restart when he decided to run into me, but whatever. Shout out to them regardless, and yeah, man, we'll ride this momentum out. We'll see where it takes us, and hopefully it's a sign of good things to come.
Operator, we'll see you in 1 week's time when we go to Charlotte. Until then, appreciate you.
Thanks, Bradley.
And that brings us down to our third place finisher. It's Tyler Harrison. And, you know, the ibuprofen number 45 had many headaches here tonight. At one point, I believe you were on your lid, and somehow you still find your way to the top three.
I can't believe it. I'm going to be honest. The sponsor did its justice tonight, and it worked wonders at the end there. So glad to be repping the ibuprofen car. That was all Tia's idea. She kept on giving me grief about, oh, well, when are you going to run a car for me? So it was between this, a Hello Kitty car, and then the new Labubu trend. I don't know if you guys have kept up on that. It's like Tide Beanie Babies with like a keychain. It's crazy. So I had to make a car for her, and I figured the All-Star race was the perfect one to do it, and got a podium out of it. So maybe I put this scheme on a cup car. Maybe I get the same luck without getting involved in 17 different wrecks. We'll see.
I don't know if Rally Daddy would be happy to see his logos taken off the car. However you can work that, you know, you're the salesman. I don't know that that everybody would be happy with that. I know that I look forward to the Rally Daddy camera, but you know, you did get results in this car here tonight, and with the carnage, the chaos, everything that you had to overcome to even be in a position to try to go win this race. It was 0.05 of a second there across the line amongst you top three. What was your mindset coming off of turn 4 when you saw that checkered flag about to wave?
I need another lap. I needed another lap to try and get it. But I mean, just to even push from, I think I was in 10th on that restart, to even go from 10th to 3rd, I thought I was just going to get wrecked again, given how the last few other restarts went for me. I just felt like I was getting caught up in everything, even if I was in the grass. So I'm happy with where I'm at. The only other way I could have gotten anything better was getting another lap. So I figure I either push somebody to the line and hope they all just wreck in front of me, or just try to get something. So happy with the podium place finish. I'll take it. This is good momentum to keep the season going.
Well, Tyler, we do appreciate you coming up here in the booth, and I know you've got one person in mind to thank for the paint scheme. Anybody else you want to shout out on top of that?
Yeah, obviously shout out to my amazing girlfriend Tia for the paint scheme idea. Glad we were able to race that tonight, and you know, have it not be too beat up there at the end. And obviously shout out to Recharge Rally as well. You know, Ryan and AJ for sponsoring that car. Ryan being the rally daddy, of course. Avid Studios for being on the car. Mr. Detail, Cars and Wings, and then of course all the league sponsors that help put this on too, such as Chapman Environmental Services, Enginuity Power Systems, Erhardt Homes, Buttkicker, and then of course you guys for broadcasting this every week. You always put on a great show, and it's always a fun time to go watch this back. So I'll definitely be interested to look back at some of the commentary from you guys. he had some pretty awesome calls, I have to say, after watching the heat races and even some of the action in this race. So this will definitely be an entertaining watch back. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and then going to, heat number 2, you guys trying to top it there and qualifying, and it all comes down to just a few hundredths again, a blink of an eye. Excellent race, Tyler. We'll see you at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We're climbing back into that cup car. We're going to go points racing again in 1 week's time.
Yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to it.
So there's Rally Daddy Cam, the 45. He's got some fast relief here tonight as he gets a 3rd place finish, and that will move us down for another week in Racing Revolution. So there you have it. Tonight's coverage, of course, it was a fun one. It was kind of a parody. It was kind of a meme. It was kind of all the things that everyone could relax here tonight. And I don't know about you, Alex, but I had a great time. I think we're going to have an even better time in about 7 days.
Yeah, I mean, I loved tonight's All-Star race. I think it was a ton of fun to just have one. That's a bit of a throwaway, nothing too serious. Just go out there, have a good time. But next week, we really get back into the swing of things in a big way. Going to Charlotte, it'll be a 300-miler, if I remember correctly. This is going to be a long one. It's going to be a marathon here May 28th, 8:30 p.m. right here on V-Speed. Back to the points-paying races in a big way with one of the crown jewels.
You'll also have another producer in the booth that week, as I'll be leaving for Nashville. So hopefully everything goes smoothly for you guys. You'll have Christian Hill, I do believe, covering that, and he'll be behind the controls and the cameras for next week. But Alex Gagnon, he's been solid all season long, and I thank you, man. You do a great job. It's been fun covering these races with you, and hopefully we can continue on when I get back in 2 weeks' time. But until then, everybody, for Adam Baker, Rob Rader, Nick Alves getting the victory here tonight in the All-Star. Congratulations to him. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Auto Club. We'll see you in 7 days at Charlotte. Until then, stay tracking, everybody.